At this time, I'd like to introduce our distinguished panel members from the local media. Kevin Osborne, news editor and political writer for City Beat. Annette Pagler, reporter and producer for WCPO TV Channel 9. Jane Prendergast, political reporter for the Cincinnati Enquirer. Our candidates for session number 1, Catherine Smith Mills, Wendell Young, Roxanne Qualls, and Lori Quinlivan. So there you have it, our first candidates up for our start our session. We're going to start with Catherine Smith Mills, is in strategic development and purchasing Mills Fence Company. She has a MPA, public policy and nonprofit management, BA International Affairs. She's 40 under 40, class of 2011, Hamilton County Elderly Services Board member, and Cincinnati Association member and Mount Lookout Community Council member. That's Catherine Smith Mills.
I'm Catherine Smith Mills. I'm a first-time candidate, so I feel like a little bit of a rookie up here, but I appreciate you being out there just the same. And I want to tell you a little bit about why I'm running for council particularly. I, like many of you out there, have a great vision for Cincinnati and what it can be, and we're on our way there, but we're not quite there yet. And I know that we can work together to bring that vision to fruition in the future. And I think I've got some great ideas to help do that, and hopefully work with other council members and the citizens to make that a reality. I see 3 primary focuses of why I'm running for council. What's the most important? The first is that of looking at job creation. Job creation in the city, we're still at about 9.5% of jobless rate here in Cincinnati, but that doesn't even begin to touch many of the people that are just without jobs and have been so for a long time. So part of our major issue on our campaign website, you can check it out, is our Mills Means Jobs plan. I'm going to briefly touch on kind of my most dear piece, and that's access to job employment here in Cincinnati. And it talks about 3 major things. One is really looking at how do we make this a center of innovation and just a Midwest capital for venture capital investment and small business creation for the future. So we've got looking at that so we can really boost up our young people and have them stay in Cincinnati. The second piece is looking at how do we make sure that young people that are in Cincinnati public schools and others have opportunities to work and have mentorship. We need to do that for our students and our young people. And lastly, in that, we really need to look at our ex-offenders here in the community, make sure that they're plugged into work so they're not in a vicious cycle of crime. Finally, and I know I'm going up here on my other 2, but the second is looking at the budget. I think this kind of dovetails in when we renew our investment here in Cincinnati. We get an increased revenue that's going to help, but I also am a supporter of consolidation of services. I think we've got some good funding that we can find through just consolidating different administrative departments through the county and the city. And really quick, the last piece, safe and clean neighborhoods involving citizen involvement. Thank you. I don't know why I did not get the Board of Realtors endorsement, and they have not told me. I did ask, but I've not been told yet. However, I will say that usually realtors, I would think that in some ways I would, because they are small business owners in the sense that they really do their own business that way, and I think that's kind of my connection. But at the end of the day, I'm not basing my campaign on who endorses me and who does not. I truly am a believer in the fact that citizens are their true voice. And so in a lot of ways it frees me up to really just hear the voice of you and make really good decisions because of that. So I don't feel it's fettered me in any way. The health clinics obviously are a very important piece to the city of Cincinnati. They get tons of usership, which is important. So I think that really the question for me becomes, because I definitely support having health clinics here in Cincinnati, is where does the funding come from? Now, I will say that I think in the long term we are going to have to look at public-private partnerships, because the city as a long term is not going to be able to afford to run them on their own. But I will also say that, with grants from the federal government, that definitely helps. I wouldn't be willing to vote against federal funding or vote them down without knowing that we had funding to continue them. I am an endorsed Republican, but I'm also somebody that, as a policy person, and I'll I'll compare myself to Roxanne in that I think that when you really are a true lover of public policy and citizen input and want to make the city better, there are no Republican or Democratic laws. It becomes what's going to be best for Cincinnati. And I think for too long, the city in both camps has really been just fettered in making decisions because of that. So we've got to work together. I think that I would bring, really just bring the insight of being able to work with other groups of people and get things done. You know, one of the things that I'm proud of is that I was a board member of Cincy PAC. I'm on the Cincinnati Association. I'm in Mount Lookout Community Council, and these are all bipartisan groups. And I think I have a record that shows that I can work very well with others and get what's best done for the city and not always play partisan politics. But this is very important to me, and I think that if you read it, it'll be important to you too, because it's about our future, and we all need to be a part of that future. And so I want your input. I would love your feedback, because whether or not I win in November or not, I hope I do, but if I don't, I'm still going to be fighting for this community and our city, and I know you all will be too. So I hope we have a long partnership together in making Cincinnati a better place. Remember, Mills for Council in November. Thank you.